Yad Téa Nockideneh Yinisha Bilagana Nishle do Tachini Nat Otene Bachishin do Bilagana Dashiche do Tapaha Dashinale Nana Ahotsa de Nasha. Native SOAR stands for Native Student Outreach, Access, and Resiliency, with a dedicated purpose in engaging with Native students and aspiring scholars and to support their academic and related life journey. It also described itself as a mentoring program, alluding that we would be mentoring high school Native students. I spotted this course being advertised in the College of Education building at the University of Arizona while exploring campus buildings alone in between my classes. It was my first semester as a university student, and I was in the midst of questioning if there was a community that I could connect with. This was because I wanted to have supportive people surrounding me as I actively try to pursue higher education and work towards uplifting communities I engage with. My classes then were focused on self-help and ways to persevere with an individualistic mindset while being taught that networking, a practice of socialization to gain beneficial knowledge or connections, is crucial to find a prosperous job. They did not emphasize the importance of building a supportive community or finding communities with similar goals, and every class felt empty and unengaging, like they were meant to keep quota rather than trying to truly improve each of their students' pursuit of knowledge. As a result, I felt as though my classes were informative, but not a place where I could socialize and connect with other students, that it was not a space where I could exchange ideas or discussions with other people to grow from. These places felt limiting, and I knew there must have been something that I was missing. So when I spotted a little flyer of an indigenized classroom that focuses on community building, I was shocked at the sudden opportunity, then decided to take the risk of this unknown class to see what the class could offer and the knowledge I can gain from my peers, instructors, and aforementioned mentees. I am glad that I took that risk because Native SOAR was able to exceed my expectations of an institutional classroom space. It broke down evolved colonialism barriers that limit learning spaces to be authoritarian, from teachers only teaching and students only listening and learning, and instead opted for discussion and storytelling based teaching, which involves all parties to become teachers who teach and students who listen and learn. The structure also allows for ideas to be bounced from one person to the next, adding more interpretations that could more widely relate to a diverse population-specific experiences. It also gave opportunities for perspectives about concerns and solutions to be developed further than one person could have, like how to continuously develop classroom spaces to relate to and inform its inhabitants. It built a community where everyone's thoughts, experiences, knowledge, and ideas are respected and represented. The structure also allowed leniency and creativity to be employed by all parties as the understanding of the people around us evolved. This personally supported me this semester because I was getting sick of the repetitive knowledge and strict curriculums that did not allow my perspectives or knowledge to be applied due to strict ruling. However, with the leniency and creativity encouraged in Native SOAR, I was able to apply my previously learned knowledge in engaging projects like this digital story project and the Rep Yourself presentation, where we explored a meaningful history with each other as a supportive peer community. I loved these assignments as we are able to apply the academic articles from class to our Native experiences, in the end helping us make sense of what we are going through and why it is occurring in the first place. We were allowed the space to share and explore each other's interpretations of the classroom articles written and published by fellow nation natives and how they related to our past, present, and future as Native scholars. Throughout history within the United States, professional and official research describes Native students as uninspired or not dedicated enough to pursue education, especially higher education, by simply observing and assuming our reasoning from a colonizer's viewpoint. This viewpoint supports not thoroughly exploring the perspective of others because they could possibly not be educated enough to explain themselves properly, or even more historically, 1800s and older, that those people are not actual proper people and therefore deemed as savage or property. For Natives' pursuit of knowledge specifically, researchers reasoned and asserted that Indigenous students' rates of higher education regarding attendance and graduation are low because we are simply not trying hard enough or are just too poor to pursue such privileged knowledge. This aspect of an unavoidable and further perpetuated narrative within our current education system regarding Native American experiences is deconstructed within Native SOAR course, following the works of Native scholars like Dr. Tachini, Dr. Shotton, and Dr. Brayboy. These few Native scholars were the first of many beginning to explore the hidden truths behind our distinct Indigenous existence within established educational institutions. Mentioning the term colonialism, it is defined as, quote, a practice of domination involving the subjugation of others, end quote, according to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, revised in 2023. In practice, this would look like ignoring the voices, concerns, and previous practices of the Indigenous peoples who lived in the area for generations. This pursuit of colonialism does not acknowledge or approve of knowledge gathered by previous experiential learners and scholars, like our Indigenous and commensurate cultured communities, which are examined and maintained through oral stories and teachings. This was because Indigenous knowledge was seen as incorrect, misguided, and untrustworthy because it is based on unscientific methodology or without proper procedures of critique and testing from a community of qualified people. In class, Amanda Tachini's 2022 article about Native presence and sovereignty in college describes colonialism's undying pursuit of control as, quote, systemic monsters, end quote, similar to what Native people have heard in our traditional stories. In those Navajo stories, and with Tachini's article, it also outlined potential steps to fight those monsters, such as getting a sharp weapon made of knowledge and understanding, and another weapon made of community and support. In my diverse community in Page AZ, I could see generational trauma expressed through that colonized narrative. My fellow natives were unmotivated to move beyond their colonizer's shackles, i.e. financial problems, not knowing their possible futures, and just trying to survive by earning quick monies, as they traverse through K-12 education and the responsibilities of home and surviving on the Navajo reservation. This looked like having to skip school or assignments because of their morals to help their family with homework, like hauling water to shower and drink from, or looking after their elderly and younger relatives. To teachers and staff, it may have just looked like skipping school, but to us, it was valuable valuing our family, being grateful for their existences, and supporting them through life. As a result, their education suffered, and teachers from our community gave little to no understanding or grace to the students in their living situations, which evidently caused my classmates to lose motivation to persevere within our nation's profitable education system. And through Native SOAR's classes, articles, and our mentoring experiences, my understanding of our relationship with the United States evolved system grew. Its purpose is meant to support its citizens, but instead it has instilled and continuously upheld oppressive and dehumanizing laws and regulations, such as exclusionary zoning ordinances created to segregate Black people from white people, soon finding de jure segregation unconstitutional in 1917, and in its place, de facto segregation was employed with the support of state and local government zoning laws and acts of gerrymandering, which commercialized and increased housing prices where Black community resided. This example is all too common and relates to the colonialist system that Native SOAR was trying to deconstruct, albeit the focus is specifically on the relationship between U.S. institutions and its arbitrary systems against Natives' relentless pursuit of education within. Native SOAR looks at how Native Americans, my community, and my friends have been continuously affected by our nation neighbors' actions, and how as a community we can support each other and attain fulfillment regardless. It creates supportive communities to allow Native allied students to develop their systemic weapons, like working class solidarity, with the understanding of how U.S. institutions and government systems actively put us down. As a result, my goals for my educational pursuits have developed. I have always wanted to focus on the ignored effects of colonialism it has on every American citizen, from the increasing housing and renting costs de facto to the resurgence of controlling laws de jure, like forcing an ultimatum to ban Gen Z's access to unrestricted news and communication, TikTok. Now, however, I can see how embedded Native American experiences are in institutional problems, and looking toward these experiences can teach us what we should do and what we should not do in our steps forward towards true equality between human beings. Yeah.